Welcome to Midlife Mix.
Am I your first Canadian podcast?
Oh my God. And they say you always remember your first.
Both things can be true. He's cheating on you. He's busting up your barbershop. Welcome, Kathleen Cameron, to Midlife Mix.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, Kathleen, you are a manifestation expert.
Yes,
Coach?
I would say so. Yes.
So, for anybody who has not heard the term manifestation, which I don't know how they have heard that term, because it was actually the word of the year in 2024, manifest.
Yeah, both Oxford Dictionary and that other one. What's the other dictionary? Webster's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know what manifestation is, what is it?
Essentially, manifestation is taking an idea from the mind and bringing it into the physical form. So most people are manifesting every single day. They're just manifesting the idea of the life that they already live. So they're reacting to the life that they live and then just re-manifesting that. So what I teach people to do is to consciously manifest. So to create a different experience for themselves in their lives. So it could be health, relationships, money, business, whatever they want really. And I teach them how to understand that by thinking from an imagined reality, you can actually make that your real and true reality.
Is there a science to manifestation?
There's an art and a science. Yes.
Okay, so for the science, let's say, challenged like myself, how do you describe the science behind manifestation and how it works?
So everything in the universe is guided by a set of laws. We call them the natural laws or the universal laws. And those universal laws mean that everything is true according to those laws. So for example, it's even physics, the perpetual transmutation of energy. So energy is perpetually, which just means always. So energy is always transmuting into a new form. So if you think about water, if you leave a glass of water sitting on the counter, it transmutes into and absorbs into, and that water will go away in the glass. If you put it on heat on the stove, it will turn into steam and it changes from water to steam. If you put it in the freezer, it goes from water to ice. So we can look at all forms of energy and we can see that they're always transmuting. They're always moving and doing something. So if we look at manifestation, we're talking about thought energy into the physical form. So thoughts into things. And so many people think that thoughts are just something that happen in their head and that they're not an energy. But what we know to be true is that thoughts are true and real energy, and they make a difference and they impact a lot of different things. Have you ever thought of someone suddenly and then they call you? It's because they felt the energetic connection. They felt the thought energy that you transmitted by thinking of them, and then they called you. So things like that. The other piece too is if we look at psychology and we look at a lot of science of the mind, we can actually prove that what we think about the most is what we will experience the most. And things like the expectation effect. So whatever you expect to happen, you will actually realize. The placebo effect is one of the most common expectation effects. So I'll tell you that you're being given a medication when it's actually just a dud. There's no medication in it, but because your mind believes there is, you see the positive effects of the medication without ever taking it. So that's a little bit of science, but I tend to live in the spiritual plane a little bit more these days. So that's what I love more, but I was scientific by background. I'm a registered nurse, so I've moved in the other direction now.
So let's talk about your background a little bit, because you started Diamond Academy, in 2020?
Yes, Diamond Academy is turning 5 July 1st.
Okay. And before you did this, you were a nurse.
I was a nurse for 12 years.
So tell me how did that happen?
Yeah. It was so beautiful because I have always been a very driven woman. And so when I graduated from high school and went to university, I then got another degree and then another one and then another one. And I moved up the corporate ladder in healthcare administration. And then when I got to kind of like as far as I could go before I was like a VP or CEO, I was like, what am I doing here? Like I'm as far as I can see myself going on the top of the pay scale, $100,000 a year. And I have more responsibility. I'm more busy. And like I wasn't getting lunch breaks or coffee breaks. And then I would get home and I would just work even more answering the emails from all the meetings I was in all day. And I met this woman who was running an online business and she was branding herself on social media. And she was going to the gym in the middle of the day, taking her kids to school on the bus every morning, picking them up. She had all this freedom. And I was like, oh man, that must be nice. And then she told me how much money she was making. and she was making twice as much money as me. And I just thought to myself, like, something's got to give. Like, I have all this formal education, certifications, this like job on the outside that looks really successful and amazing. And yet I'm tired and I'm burnt out. And she's over here living this life. So I ended up deciding to start an online business as well. And I replaced my nursing salary through that. So I quit nursing and I had that. And then after I quit my nursing career in 2019, I decided, you know what, it's time to pour into myself. And I took a mindset course. So I took a mindset course with Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret. And as soon as I started in that program, magic started to happen in my life. And so I dug really deep into the work for 4 months. Yeah, September to December. And by January, I was teaching this material. Like, I loved every moment of teaching it, learning it, studying it, embodying it. It almost became like an obsession for me. And the more I taught it, the more people started to see results. So by January of 2020, I launched my coaching business.
So when you say you take a more spiritual angle to manifestation versus the scientific explanation of it, tell me, what does that look like for?
So the manifestation philosophy that I use is spirituality meets personal growth and development. So I truly believe that it is about elevating our consciousness and elevating the understanding of who we believe we are. So to create a more elevated version of yourself in your mind. And then what comes with that is obviously more peak performance. So you start to be more disciplined, consistent, stuff like that. But where the magic really started to happen for me was when I started to understand that I am not a human being, that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So when I started to believe in a higher power, all of everything, some call it universe, some call it source, some call it God, whatever the God of your understanding is, the important thing for me was that when I realized that there's a great, incredible power supporting me and I'm co-creating with, that's where the true like magic happened, which isn't magic at all. It's truth and real life. So I believe now that the way in which I manifest into my life is with that source energy. So when I think thoughts and I feel feelings and I take action here in this 3D physical plane, I'm actually saying to that source energy, that God energy, the all of everything energy, go here. So I'm guiding and directing source energy by who I'm being, how I'm showing up, the action that I'm taking. So that's why my magnet is on so big. That's why my light is so bright. And that's why the action I take has such big, drastic results, because I'm actually guiding and directing the all of everything towards what I desire. That's something that science would have a very hard time to prove, because the mind can't understand source because it's limited. Our souls know what the mind will never know. So I use my soul in all of my manifestations. Let's be real. Yeah.
So when you found manifestation and The Secret, did you think 5 years later you would own a $40 million manifestation business?
At that time, no. At that time, my vision for myself was to hopefully make $1 million a year. I was making $100,000 as a nurse. And then I'm like, you know what? I would love to make $1 million a year. And so that's the identity that I first adopted was, okay, so what would it be like for me to identify as a millionaire? What would that look like? Who would I be? How would I show up? What would be the feeling of me? I love when people say I feel like $1 million, because what they're not saying I feel like $1 million in my bank account. What they're saying is I feel the feeling of what it would be like to have that level of time and financial freedom, to have that ease, that peace, that joy, that love, that gratitude. So I embodied that identity of being a millionaire almost immediately when I launched my coaching business in January of 2020. That's why $1 million came in 7 months. And then that first year in business was a $3 million year. 3.3, because vibrationally I was emitting a magnet that was calling in that, and I attracted it right to me. So then no. But the version of who I am today is actually calling in more than $100 million business a year. That's what I truly know is on the horizon, is things like that. And then I do know in this reality, this 3D physical plane, the billionaire identity is something I will experience as well.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Yes.
When for somebody who wants abundance in their life,
Yeah.
okay, when you say you felt like a millionaire or you got that feeling, because you hear that a lot in the manifestation community, that the way to get your manifestation is you have to feel it first.
Yes.
How do you feel it when, in your example of I want to feel being a millionaire, when your bank account is only showing, let's say, $50,000? Like, how does somebody do that?
Yeah.
Tell me.
So we actually see the world through two different lenses. I didn't open up my second lens until 2019. So I was 37. So for 37 years, I only learned how to see the world from the human mind's lens. And so they call that the carnal mind or the servant mind. Many, many different names for it. But so what that means is that you're seeing through the senses. So you're only able to respond to, react to, understand things that you can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. So what that means is anything outside of your five senses isn't real. It doesn't exist. It's not true. So that's the reality that I lived in, especially as a nurse. I worked at Princess Margaret Hospital as a science researcher. And we had to literally prove something to be true by peer-reviewed journal articles. We had to have tests, and the five senses had to prove it to be real. So that's like the human mind. But there is this other lens that we can look at life through, and that is the spiritual lens or the imaginative lens, or you can call it Christ consciousness. Some people will call it as well. I refer to it as the soul's perspective. So when I started to observe the world, not through just what I could see, but what I could feel, what I could intuitively know to be true, everything changed. And in that lens as well is the imagination. The imagination isn't in the five senses, because the five senses say, well, it's only real if you see it. But now when I come through the soul's perspective and I apply the imagination, I know that the imagination is actually where all creation begins. So by merely imagining something, I'm bringing it into observation. So then you ask me the question, well, how can you feel like a millionaire if you've never been one and you have $10 in your account? I always use $10. So you've got $10 in your bank account. How on earth are you ever going to feel a match to being a millionaire? Well, you go into your imagination. In the imagination is where all different versions of you exist. So you with $10 exists, you homeless on the street exists, and then you as a millionaire and you as a billionaire. They all exist in the imagination. And by giving your imagination the focused attention to that idea, you're making it real. You're bringing it to life. So I go into my imagination and I experience what it's like to be a multimillionaire. And so when I have millions, what is my life like? And then you just play it out in your head and you can feel it right then and there. And then you apply, I usually apply gratitude. Once I have millions of dollars, I'm experiencing this reality. What is it like? What am I grateful for? Oh my gosh. And then as soon as you do that, you're moving it into the subconscious mind and you're moving it into reality, because feeling is the secret. So the subconscious mind is like the automatic program that's playing in our minds. And our mind doesn't know the difference between a past memory, what you're seeing today, or what you're imagining. So when I go feel in the imagination the feeling of being a millionaire, and it feels so good and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful and I feel it and I hold it, the subconscious mind goes, ooh, we love this experience. This is real. Oh, this is amazing. I love it. And then boom, it goes into the subconscious mind. So the more you do it, the more you believe it. Next thing you know, you look at your bank account and you're like, yeah, there's $10 in here, but I know more is on its way. And then when you start behaving from that experience, you start to take bolder action, you take bigger risks, you do more things, you make investments, you meet new people, and you attract more of what you need. So if anybody ever tells me I don't know what it feels like, I'm like, you're not using your imagination. Just go back and practice what it's like to play and to play out scenarios and dreams. I got to teach people how to dream again. We don't do that at all anymore. Well, I do all the time, but most people don't. And so that would be my long-winded explanation to that question.
But you teach people how to manifest at Diamond Academy. In fact, you have several courses that one could take. And here's my question, because I know you had the Millionaire course.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're teaching the manifestation techniques to bring it in.
Oh, yeah. It's a 6-month transformative journey of healing. we actually reprogram the subconscious mind into the millionaire identity. And then through that, they obviously learn all the techniques too. And then we teach embodiment. So it's not about knowing a thing. Because when we know a thing in the mind, we can regurgitate it. We could say it to one another. But to spiritually know something, you exist as it is true. It becomes truth for you, and you will actually move it into the body and you'll behave differently. So I'm really focused on embodiment. After seeing so many people just know it, I'm like, no, but like, it's not just about knowing, it's about being.
What's the difference between a manifestation and a wish?
Okay, so if we look at what a manifestation is, to say that you manifested something means that you're observing it. So a manifestation is made manifest by light, and you would observe that in the physical 3D world. People will say that they are manifesting, which means that they're in the process of calling in their manifestation into the 3D world. A wish is usually where a manifestation will start. So most people will be like, oh, I wish I could have this. I wish I could have that. I tend to move them out of that wishing state into the wanting state. Because wishing often comes with a lack of belief in their ability to have it. And you can even hear it when people say, oh, I wish. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, right. So I move people into wanting something. When you move into the want energy, then you're saying like, I want that. Not, I wish I could have that. That's what I hear often. It's more, I want that. I would love that. When we do that, we're opening up the mind. But when we're needing something or we're wishing for something, that mind is actually still closed. So I would say we would want people to want their manifestation. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because because I love all the manifestations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm on manifestation TikTok all the time. So we'll talk about that.
I haven't posted in a while over there. I should post over there.
Yeah, you totally should. The message that they're often saying, and you tell me if this is right or not, because you're just saying you want to hear I want.
Yeah.
But then you have a lot of manifestation coaches out there that are saying, no, you can't say you want it because then that means you don't have it. Mm-hmm. So you have to say, I have it. Yeah. And it's like the whole, the Derulo is make it true Lulu or whatever.
Yeah, Derulo
right?
is the true Lulu or something.
Yeah.
So what I've actually taught is what I call the ladder of belief. So for people that are new to manifestation, that aren't at a higher level of consciousness, to tell them that, to just say, hey, you can't want it, you have to be it. You have to be a vibrational match. It's going to take the mind a little while to get there. So I built a ladder of belief. So the ladder of belief says that we all start essentially needing what we want first. There's some sort of inherent need there. So that's what has us start to move towards it. I get everybody out of the need energy into the want energy. So I want you to want it, but not need it. Just like in the dating world, I want you, but I don't need you. Mm-hmm. We want to do that with all of our manifestations. Need means lack and limitation. It's not a very good vibration for attraction. So then I move them up into the want energy. I would love this. That's where all manifestation starts. You can't actually start to call it in until you allow yourself to get there and say, yes, I would love $1 million. Then I want to get everybody out of the want into the believe. To believe that $1 million is on its way to me. See how that's energetically a little bit higher than wanting it. Wanting it says I don't have it. But believing that it's on its way says, there's movement there. And then the place where the manifestation will absolutely show up is in the knowing. You cannot want it because you know that you have it. So eventually, yes, we will need to get you to that place where you no longer want for something because you know that you already are it, have it, and it's already there. And then you will observe it. So for me being a millionaire, there was this moment where before the $1 million came, I was like, I'm a millionaire. I have no freaking clue how. I have this calmness come over me. It was like, it is already done. Like it's already here. And then I just moved like I was already her. And then the money came like really fast. It was like $770,000 in like 4 months. It just came like whoosh because I was in that knowing state. So yeah, you will eventually need to get there, but I help people climb that ladder because there's a gap in the mind's understanding for you to just say, no, you have to be it now. You can't want it anymore. You're like, what? Wait a minute. I don't get it. So I came up with that model.
Awesome. Are you supposed to tell people what you're manifesting? Or is it like a birthday wish where you're supposed to not tell everybody what it is?
That's so funny.
Because you hear people say, don't
Yeah.
tell anybody what
Yeah.
you're manifesting, keep it to yourself. But then if you're running a whole business about how to teach people how to manifest, don't they have to tell you like what they're trying to accomplish?
Yeah,
and
of course.
achieve?
So there's lots of different authors that have different viewpoints on this and different perspectives. But if I actually go back to what do I inherently know to be true about manifestation is that whatever I believe to be true will be true. So if I believe that I can't tell anybody, that it has to be kept a secret, and that's the only way it'll manifest, then that's what I will do. And that's what I would suggest you do. But if you want to believe that you can tell the world and that's what's going to do it, then you can believe that you can tell the world and it will do it. It's entirely up to you and your own belief system. Personally, for me, I have found that when I am really vocal about it and when I'm really loud about it and I'm really bold about it and I express it and I talk about it and I share, I embody it faster. So I believe it to be true faster when I'm loud and I talk about it. I also find that the world will give me back my manifestation. So I decided one day I was going to be like, okay, I'm KCB. I'm adding a B to my name. I'm going to tell the world. I'm declaring it. I'm going to be a billionaire in this lifetime. Let's go. Everybody started calling me KCB. And so now I hear KCB all the time and the rest of the world is like, yeah, you got this. We know it. So now I'm like, okay, if I didn't share it and I kept it quiet and private, I wouldn't have that coming back at me. So for me, I'm loud, I'm bold, I'm daring, and I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that sharing my manifestations can hinder it in any way. And so that's the experience I have. But if you do have the other belief and you want to keep it private to yourself and you believe that's the way, then you can do that too. And I believe you will manifest it from that belief system too.
Can you manifest for people?
You cannot manifest for people unless they are manifesting it for themselves as well. So we have incredible powers. We have mental transmutation powers that are phenomenal, incredible, and amazing. When you are using your mental transmutation powers for yourself, because you have free will, so this is why God gave us free will, so that we have the free will to choose what we manifest. And so my free will allows me to manifest for me. Now, I have mental transmutation powers for other people as well. So I can actually mentally transmute for you. So if you want me to think about something or visualize something or dream about something and do that alongside you, we then become a mastermind, which two people in any room together, God becomes even more present. So for us manifesting that together, yes, I've done it with my mom and her eyesight. I've done it with people's health. I've done it with my one-on-one coaching clients. But the problem is if I'm trying to manifest for you something that you're not manifesting, your consciousness is nowhere near it. It'll never happen because your free will is to manifest something else. Your free will overpower my manifestation and mental transmutation. So nobody can manifest for me. They can manifest with me, for me, but they can't manifest for me without me. That's my belief system.
So if I came to you and said, Kathleen,
Yes.
midlife mix,
Yeah.
it's got a blow up.
Love it.
I want a Call Me Daddy Spotify deal for $60 million.
Oh my gosh. Yes, let's go. Okay, let's visualize it. Here's a little trick. So the day that you get the deal signed and it's done, how do we want to celebrate?
Oh, I'm going out with all my friends.
Okay. And where are we going and what are we going to drink?
Where are we going? Somewhere fancy where I've never been, maybe.
Why don't we take a private jet
Oh,
from
yeah.
Toronto to Paris
Yes.
and have dinner at L'Avenue and celebrate your $600 million deal?
Yes.
So now visualize that scenario. So what I just did is I created a little end scene, an experience or an event that will only happen once your manifestation is true. And so if you just visualize us now, you call me like, Kathleen, get the jet. We're on our way. And I say, okay, I'm coming. And then we're having dinner at L'Avenue and we're celebrating. We're like, remember that day we recorded the podcast in studio and you had me create this scene and now we're here experiencing it? Like feel all of that, feel the feeling and we can, not champagne because I don't drink, but sparkling water. We can toast and say, wow, we really did it, didn't we? Feel that feeling over and over again. That's how you connect to the future state or the future manifestation now and bring it in. So we can both be doing that. We'll do it together.
Let's do it together. I wanted to ask you about manifestation in that, our thoughts obviously control our reality, right?
Oh, yeah.
What about our bad thoughts? Like,
All thoughts.
how do we get those to go away
Yeah.
we don't manifest bad things into our lives?
Yeah. So the one thing to understand is it's universal law. So it's universal law that there is always going to be a polarity. So every single bit of energy has a plus side and then it has a bad side. There's a top, there's a bottom, there's an up, there's a down, there's a light, there's a dark. So to say that we are going to rid ourselves of the polarity of our thoughts is against universal law. So we have to understand that we are always going to have both good and bad thoughts. So we can't be trying to abolish it completely. You're going to be working really, really hard and against yourself and against universal law. So what does that mean then? It means that you can still manifest whatever the heck you want while having bad thoughts, while having negative thoughts, right? So here's a little example. I truly believe that mood does not manifest, identity does. So if mood manifested, so think positive thoughts and you'll live a positive life. Mm-hmm. If mood manifests, then we would see all rich people being really happy because happy means rich. But we have very rich people that are very unhappy, and we have people that don't have any money that are very happy. So mood doesn't manifest. What we know does is identity. So what I do is I allow myself to be the most empowered, abundant, prosperous, grandest version identity of myself every single day. And so I ask, what would my dominant thoughts be? So if I was my most empowered and I was my most abundant and prosperous and the grandest version I'd ever been, I'm mostly probably thinking about how I can do things, how I love my life, how beautiful everything is, thinking positively about other people and blah, blah, blah. For the most part, you'll find that. But then there will be negative events of your life. You will lose people. You will have sad moments. You will have health issues. It's inevitable to experience that because when you're your grandest version, life doesn't suddenly go away. It's like it still happens. So there's going to be times where your thoughts aren't going to always match that, but it's okay. We want to move them through, feel them, and let them go. So for example, I had my beautiful grandmother pass away it's probably 3 weeks ago now. I got to go be with her for her last couple of days, and that was very sad. So I had sad moments with her, and then when I got home in the grieving the loss of her, but I was still my most empowered self. So my business was still thriving. I was still getting incredible bookings in my business, and social media platforms still growing. Like everything I was manifesting didn't come to a halt because I was suddenly thinking sad thoughts. So I always say I'm an empowered woman who's having a sad moment, and I let that thought move to and through me. But if you're noticing your dominant thoughts are negative, your dominant thoughts are, I can't, I shouldn't, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm anxious, that's an opportunity for you to create a new identity, a new version of you to think from. So negative thoughts aren't necessarily bad. It's just when there's way more of them than the positive. That's when you want to switch it.
Yeah. Can we manifest anything we want in our life?
Absolutely. There's no limit.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
What I see a lot on the TikTok.
Oh, on the TikTok.
Okay. So many people, because you mentioned free will.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So many people, yes, are manifesting career and money and abundance. Yeah. Other people are manifesting other people. And a lot of these other people have third parties. So maybe, there's somebody who's married or they have a spouse or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then what I see, on social media are these manifestation coaches. As soon as you say, well, how do I manifest this third party away? And they say, well, why would you choose somebody who can't choose you? To me, that's like, yeah, you can, like, why can't you manifest this loser to lose to leave his wife, right? Like, why? Like, why is there that sort of distinction where, okay, I can become a millionaire in 5, I can, in 5 years or whatever, manifest that, but I can't manifest that because how could I do that when this person clearly can't choose me, but clearly they can?
Yeah. So I teach people how to manifest an experience, not a specific thing or a specific person. And the reason I say that is like, okay, so I want this specific man who happens to be married, okay? But you want to be in a relationship with a married man, or you want a man that's going to leave his marriage to then come and be with you? Okay, so then he's a man that leaves his marriage to be with someone else. So he's going to come to you and then marry you and then go leave you for someone else. Like, you're then manifesting something that you probably don't want. So you're not actually clear on the desired end experience. You're too caught up and fixated on a person. So instead, I would say, what's the love experience that you want to have in your life? You want a man that is da 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 da. The experience you want is to feel in this relationship these ways, and this is the experience I desire. And then you have to trust source energy to provide you with what it is you actually want and desire, instead of some little like obsession. And even if let's use a house as an example. I can say, this is my dream house. This is the one that I want. It's absolutely the one that I want. And you choose it and you decide that you want it. Well, every spring when the snow melts, the basement floods, but you don't know that. So then you want to buy this house, you go to purchase it, and the sale doesn't go through, and you lose the house and you miss out. Well, you have to trust that the universe made it so that you didn't get it because you didn't know about the flood. And so then the universe in 3 months actually gives you your dream house and you get it and it's easy and it's effortless. And then you're like, oh, of course this is the one that I'm meant to be with. So while you manifest an experience, you're leaving yourself open to all potentiality, all possibility, and the universe will give you the best of what you want. But when you're fixated on something that isn't an experience but a person, you're opening yourself up to an experience that you might not want. So I'm always cautious and careful. This or something better. So you know what? This man looks like he's the man that I want. He's great. Universe, this guy, if he becomes single, or something better. And then you have to be open to the something better. But a lot of people are too attached. They want that one thing in that one way. And then you're in a resistive state because you're too attached. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
That, I would have liked to hear that on TikTok. Yeah. Because they all say the same thing, which is like, well, why would you want to choose somebody who doesn't choose you?
Well, it's not the experience you actually want. Like, I would actually go deeper into say, like, what is it about this specific person you think you desire? It's a story. You don't actually like know them or experience them. You've never been in a relationship with them yet. So you don't know. So you have to trust that there's forces all around you, guiding you, swerving you, directing you, that know a little bit more than you do. So then when that, dream experience actually shows up, you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
Is there such thing as coincidences?
Well, if you look at the word, everything coincides. So like, to coincide means two angled points that meet together perfectly. So a coincidence, we tend to think a coincidence is like, oh, it's just a coincidence by fluke. But to coincide means like to meet on purpose perfectly. So yeah, there's coincidences, but it's not a coincidence, in the traditional sense. So I always say, like, if you're listening to this episode right now, it is not by coincidence. It is not. It is actually perfect alignment. It is happening in the perfect moment for you in your life. There is a message. There is something that your soul is seeking that called this specific episode into your reality. This episode is a manifestation of yourself that you are listening to right now. So I always tell people, whenever you meet me and you listen to me for the first time, sit back and ask, why did I just call this woman into my life? Because you've asked for it in some way. It is not simply a coincidence. It's a manifestation.
So, talking about what we see on social media all the time, there's a lot of catchphrases when it comes around manifestation. Okay. So I'm going to mention them to you.
Okay. I wonder if I've heard them. Let's hear it.
If it's good,
okay,
you say manifest.
Okay.
And if it's bad, manifuck it. Okay.
You want me to cuss? Manifuck it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's the first time I'm cussing on a podcast.
So tell me, first of all, what they are, and then tell me if it's legit or not. Okay. Okay. The O method.
I don't know what that is. Is that orgasm?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, manifest. That's real. That shit's real. So yes, it's called the perpetual transmutation of sexual energy. So when we think about sexual energy, it is one of the most powerful energies that we can create in ourselves. And so when you are at your peak state, right before you're about to orgasm, that's when your sexual energy is at its highest. So it's peaking. After you orgasm, it goes back down. So what I highly suggest is as you are at your peak state, you are about to orgasm whether you're alone or you're with someone, it does not matter. When you're at your peak state and you're just about to orgasm, I want you to use your imagination to feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your desire in place, whatever it is, because you're feeling good. And so you want to feel even better with that goal. So it might be like, oh, I'm so grateful for the billions of dollars coming my way, or whatever it is in your mind, and allow that to transmute with that high-powered energy. And then it just goes back down afterwards. So yes, it is a real thing, but you have to practice it. And I want you to always make sure that you are in an empowered sexual state while using this method. So what that means is a disempowered sexual state is where you are actually engaging in sexual activity with someone from needing validation, from the ego, from wanting to feel good about yourself, trying to get somebody to like you. Those are disempowered states. So when you're having a sexual experience with yourself, I want you to feel empowered. And then if you are having a sexual encounter with another person, that you feel very, very empowered with that person. You're experiencing that from the best version of yourself, not a disempowered state. And then, yes, you can use the O method as much as you want. Yes.
The whisper method.
I've never heard of this.
Never heard of this?
The whisper method?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you want me to explain it to you?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So in your head, you're supposed to visualize. Okay. So let's say you want somebody to do something for you. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say I want my mom to make me my favorite birthday dinner. Okay. So what I'm going to do, like when you're just falling asleep and you're sort of in that state, is you close your eyes and you picture yourself walking up your mother's steps to her door. You're feeling the door handle. You're hearing the sounds of the door, your steps, and you see your mother there. What is she wearing? What are you wearing? And you're walking up to your mother in your mind, and you whisper in her ear, "Make Rachel prime beef," or "Make me prime rib." Make me prime rib, right? You say it 3 times in her ear, and then you kiss her forehead, and you walk away.
Okay, so it's just visualization. So yeah, I manifest.
Yeah.
It's just a visualization technique, right? If you think about it, what you're doing is you're going into your imagination and you're experiencing the reality of something happening, and you're feeling the feeling of that something happening. And so your thought energy is going towards that idea and sending it out into the ether. So yeah, that should all work for sure.
Thought transmission. Is that a real thing? Can we transmit thoughts to somebody?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We absolutely can. Yes. You can feel it. You can feel when someone's thinking about you. Like I get these feelings all the time to call someone, to reach out to someone, to send them a text. And it's always, as soon as I do that, they said, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." I'm like, yep, I can feel it. Absolutely true. I also believe that I can manifest things by merely deciding it is so. So for example, I'm a master manifester of massages. So I was at the Four Seasons Hotel. Four Seasons is booked out like 3-4 weeks in advance. If you want to get a massage, you got to call then, or you got to hope for a cancellation, things like that. So I had a facial on Saturday morning, and I said, you know what? I would love a massage Sunday. I would love that. And then I went, well, I have breakfast in the morning. I have a workout. I got to be home by a certain time. So I thought, okay, when is the best time for me to have a massage? 11 a.m. That's actually the only time that'll work. So I just sat with myself for a second and I just did a little visualization. Okay, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to ask her if there's a massage, and she's going to tell me there's an 11 o'clock, and I'm going to say, thank you. And then I'm going to get my Sunday massage. So I played that out in my head first. And then I walked out there and I went, hey, I'm wondering if you have any massages available for tomorrow. I didn't say a time. I just said, I'm wondering if you have any massages available tomorrow. And she said, actually, I just had a cancellation for 10:45 or 11. And I was like, just as I expected. So like things like this, I can do easily and effortlessly. I can do it with lineups in the customs. I can do it with like coffee and Starbucks, and I'm unattached, and I believe I'm that powerful. So yeah, I think that whisper method would really work.
You kind of said it already, but to detach, that's what we hear. Detach.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That's a thing?
Yes, because when you're attached to something, you're gripping it really tightly. You're holding on to it. You want this thing in this way, in this timeline. And so if you think about the energy behind that, it's tense. It's an attachment. It's important. It's meaningful. It's needed. So what I do is I practice the art of detachment. So I want you, but I don't need you. So I'm going to release my grip and I'm going to touch it lightly. So you know what? I would love a massage on Sunday at 11 o'clock. It wasn't like, if I don't get that massage at 11, I'm going to be really mad. Nope. And I'd have no belief in my mind that if my manifestation doesn't come through, I'm not good at manifesting. So if there wasn't an 11 o'clock massage, I just would have been like, oh, guess it wasn't meant to be, and just move on. So I use language to detach, like, who cares? It's not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. I don't give a fuck. Like, I say things like that when I do feel myself making it important and attaching to it. Oh, another one is like, I've got nothing to lose. Like, if you think you have something to lose, you're attached. So for me, it's like, oh, I got nothing to lose. I might as well go for it. And I just like jump off the cliff. But I also, the energy with which you are like jumping off the cliff matters. I jump off the cliff believing that my wings are going to come out and I'm going to soar. Most people are thinking about jumping off the cliff and landing on the ground. So it's just two different beliefs in your ability to fly versus not fly. So I think I can fly.
Affirmations.
Affirmations. To affirm something is actually to affirm that you are not it, right? So if I'm going to sit here and say, I'm confident, what am I actually saying? I'm not, but I want to be. So it's part of that ladder of belief. You can use affirmations along the process, but there has to come a point where you no longer affirm it, like where you're no longer using an affirmation. So if you're weak and you want to be strong, so let the weak man say, I am strong. Okay, that's great. You're going to say, I am strong, I am strong, I am strong, and convince yourself that you are. But then one day, strength is just who you are. You don't say I'm strong. So I think about it this way too. I'm a mother. I have 2 beautiful daughters. And I don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, you're a mother today, Kathleen. I am a mother. No, I just wake up and be a mother. So the energy that you want to be in is the being, the knowing, the just waking up and being a mother. But there might be a time where you're going to use an affirmation, but I don't want you using that affirmation for more than like a couple of weeks. And then eventually you got to let the affirmation go and just be it. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next one.
Yeah.
Everybody is you pushed out.
Okay, so we're talking about reflection. What that means is we observe the world with our 5 senses, but we also observe the world through our consciousness, not just our 5 senses. So if it was just 5 senses, that would mean that everything I saw would be exactly the same thing you saw. But when we look at things like COVID, some people saw a really bad thing. Some people saw an awful thing. Some people saw this way. And then other people were like, it's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. I like the time off. Oh, I started my business. I launched my business. Even little things like, let's talk about rain, for example. So rain isn't inherently a good thing or a bad thing, but based on who you are and what you believe, rain can be good or bad. So I'm a farmer, let's say. So I see rain, the same rain you see, but my consciousness says, hallelujah. I want the water for my crops. They're all going to grow even better now because we have rain. So this is wonderful. But then you're sitting over there and it's your wedding day and you're a bride and you're emotional and you're afraid it's going to rain and you see the rain. Your consciousness sees bad. It sees, oh no, it's raining outside. This is awful. This sucks. And you're going to cry about it. So what that means then is everything that I observe, the reality that I see is my consciousness reflecting outside of me. So everything is telling me something about me. So for dating, this is a huge manifestation topic right now, dating. So if I'm dating a man that loves to fight and he loves to be argumentative and that sort of thing is what's occurring and it's a pattern. So the last 3 men that I've dated have been argumentative. What's the reflection? What's the mirror? What is the mirror telling me? That I am calling in, I am choosing argumentative men. So go back into your life and ask yourself, was my dad argumentative? Did I grow up where argumentativeness was normal and natural in my life? Maybe it was your mom, but most likely it was probably your father, or it could have been an uncle. It could have been a boss that you had at work. It could have been a teacher at school that was very argumentative. But you learned that Argumentative is natural, and so you choose argumentative men. So for a really consciously awake and aware person, they would notice the pattern and go, oh, I get it. The entire world outside of me is me just pushed outward. So if I want a new experience, I got to go within and change it. So then I decide, no, I am now going to be consciously committed to peace and love in my relationships. And so you have to make a new choice. So then you will not say that argumentativeness is okay again going forward. So this is why women keep choosing the same type of men. And this is why we keep choosing lack of money in our lives, because it's just a reflection of the patterning in the programming within us. And then we're just observing what we're literally manifesting outside of us.
So how do we change our programming?
You have to reprogram your subconscious mind. Yeah. You gotta become self-aware. Most people say like the first step in the manifestation process is like, what do you want? No. Who are you? Like, I was a zombie literally walking around not knowing who I was. I did not know myself at all until 37. I didn't know what I thought of myself. I didn't know what my beliefs about me were. I didn't know what self-love was. I didn't know what my past life had created for me now. And so when I started to unpack that and I started to become self-aware, I'm like, who am I? But really, who am I? And like, what do I think about myself? And what do I think about life? And what do I think about the world? And what do I think about my family? I started to realize that a lot of things were not true and they weren't real. They were just stories that I heard so much that I bought into, and then I made them real for me. So for example, I used to think that I had to be skinny, that being fat, being in a plus size body was a bad thing, that it was gross, gluttonous, I was lazy, it was ugly, nobody wanted me. And, you know, I say this kind of harshly, but that's truly what I believed in my consciousness. I just wasn't aware of it. So all of my life, I wanted to be skinny. I didn't realize it was because I thought all those things. I just thought skinny's better, so I should be that. So every year for my birthday, since I was probably 7 years old up till 37, I blew out that candle and the wish was, I wish I was skinny. And so in 2019, when I started to really unpack that, I was like, why do I want to be skinny so bad? Like, what is that about? And I realized it's because I thought being fat was bad. And then I went, is that true? Is being plus size ugly, gross, disgusting? And then I started to look around with new eyes. Okay, what if it's not? And I started seeing all these phenomenal women out there with curvy bodies. Lizzo, Ashley Graham, there's a supermodel, Tess. I can't remember her last name right now. All of these even Oprah, all of these really, really successful, beautiful women that were fat. And I was like, you know what? I think my belief is bad. I think it's wrong. I'm going to change it. So I just decided in that moment, I'm not broken. I'm not a flaw. I'm not disgusting. I'm not gross. I'm actually really beautiful. And so at 300 pounds, I was actually 323 pounds at my heaviest weight when I manifested this whole entire business. I decided that I was going to love myself the way that I was, and that I was beautiful, and that I was going to be successful. And so it was no coincidence that changed the belief, all the success came like that. So those old beliefs that I had were literally keeping all the success away. Change the belief, change the entire experience. So that's just one little example. But self-awareness is the first thing. Once you're aware of all the limiting beliefs that aren't true and real, then you can reprogram them in your subconscious mind. Lots of different ways to do it. Lots of different teachers to teach you how to do it. Constant spaced repetition, the use of auto-suggestion, hypnosis, NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy. I mean, we can go on and on. But I just have people ask the question, what if you just believed you can accept a new belief in an instant? Because you can. Because that's what I do. So play around with that one.
Did you ever believe you were going to meet Jason Derulo?
No. I didn't specifically ask to meet Jason Derulo. What I actually desired and what the vision or the experience that I called in was, when I think about manifestation in this work, there are people in this world who are huge, powerful manifestors. They are manifesting everything from wealth to impact to social media following to best-selling records to owning businesses and companies. And they're really, really powerful people. And they have influence. They have what we call celebrity. And so for me to be able to show the world how easy it is for them to manifest, to hear it from these celebrities or influencers, they're the ones that everybody knows, like, and trust. So I had this thought to myself one day, I would love on my podcast to interview some of these powerful manifestors, the world's biggest names in the industry, to get them to tell the real life stories of how they manifested it all. And so Jason was the first one that matched that experience that I desired to be. So when you know, I manifested knowing someone that is really, really close with him. So it wasn't even like a business thing. Like, I didn't reach out to his team or anything. It was actually like I met someone who spoke to him about it. And we made it happen. So then I went to his house and I interviewed him for my podcast like a month ago, maybe now. Can't even remember. But did I know that I was going to be interviewing people like that? Yeah, because I asked for it. And there'll be many, many more to come for sure.
And I don't know if you want to talk about it or if you can talk about it, but you're working on a fun project with him.
Yeah. So it was really, really beautiful because I really trust intuitive guidance and source energy. And when I was sitting with Jason and conducting the interview, I had this thought come through that there's actually a way where he can impact people in a different capacity than he is through his music. And through more mentorship. So when I was sitting there, I had this idea. He has a book called Sing Your Name Out Loud, which is a manifestation technique that he didn't even know he was doing. Because to sing your name out loud is an identity. It's a belief. He sang his name from the idea of fame before he was famous. Like, come on, it's fantastic. Anyway, and it's called 15 Rules to Live Your Life Out Loud. And so I just said to him, Jason, this is a course, man. Like, let's do it. You should create a program. It'll change the world. And I'll come in and I'll collaborate with you and I'll teach the theory. You teach the 15 rules and I'll teach the theory behind them. I'll teach what you were doing. And he was like, oh, okay. So then I went back another day, about 2 weeks later on Monday, and gave him the whole rundown of what I thought he should do and the ways we should do it. And I was there at his house filming 3 days later. And so we filmed the whole course already. It's all being edited right now. And it'll be coming out very, very soon.
Wow. And how can people take it? Where can they access it?
Once it does come out, it'll be all over Jason's profiles and stuff. And obviously you can find it online too. And you'll be able to just go and click and sign up and take the course. But it's really, really beautiful. And the way in which we filmed it too, every 15 lessons that he did was filmed in a different part of his own house. So he filmed an episode in the studio and in his basketball court and in his bedroom and in his kitchen and like in his movie theater. So it's really cool because you get to see him in the environment of the life that he manifested through the ideas that he's sharing in the course. It's actually like brilliant. If there was an award for like courses, it would win it for sure. After my Millionaire Program. Just saying.
Do you want to talk about your Millionaire Program? What's that?
It is such a life-changing course. It makes me quite emotional because it's my work. And so when people are so impacted by the course itself in the ways that they are, it's mind-blowing and it just brings me a lot of pride. I went through what I did in the first year of my life, my manifestation life in 2020, and I mapped it all out and put it into a course. Like, what exactly did I do? What did I think? What was the embodiment? What were the exercises that I did? And I put it into a program. And I'll just give you 2 different ranges of kind of like outcomes from this program. There's one woman that was literally going to have her car repoed. I interviewed her on my podcast, Leslie. She took my Wealth from Within course, then moved up into Millionaire, and she manifested something like $4 million in like, I don't even know the time frame. I know she did her first million in 4 months. She did it faster than I did from that course. That's just one example of people becoming millionaires. That stuff's happening all the time now. But then the other thing that happens, which is so beautiful too, is we have several people that find me and they're suicidal. Several people that don't even have the will to live. And within 6 months' time, they actually end up so happy it brings them to tears. And they have no idea how they went from not even thinking that they were worthy of even existing and wanting to end their life to leave this beautiful world to being so absolutely grateful of it and loving themselves so much that they could cry. The other piece too is diseases. We have had people cure their cancer, autoimmune diseases, depression and anxiety, physical immobilities, you name it. It's really life-changing. And every single time someone signs up and enrolls into my Millionaire Program, we actually congratulate each other for changing a life today. Like, that's how powerful this work is. So yeah, it's manifestation, and it can be like this like woo-woo fun thing and on trend, but this shit's real and it's life-changing. And I'm just grateful that I've been given the tools to be able to teach it in such a powerful way.
And you're bringing your gift, I believe I saw on your website. Are you doing an event in Toronto in June?
Yeah, we have manifestation. We have Manifest Toronto, June 6th, that's Steam Whistle. The VIP tickets are all sold out, but there's general admission that you can do. So it's a full day with us, with my team. I have Cheryl Hickey speaking as well. So Cheryl is a student of mine. She took Millionaire course. And we are actually working on a manifestation program together, Manifestation for Families. And she's going to be teaching how she uses this manifestation work with her kids and with her family. So that's really good. And then Eric, he is my trainer and dear friend, is going to be coming and doing a segment on spiritual fitness and the importance of spiritually connecting and aligning while you're doing physical mobility in your life. So lots of other things going on, but those are just two of the additional speakers that'll be there.
Great. And they can sign up on your website?
Yep, you can just sign up on the website. If you search Manifest Toronto, or even on my Instagram, you'll find tickets there as well.
Awesome. We're running out of time, but I just want to get your final thoughts. If you had to give somebody, one message about manifestation, what would it be that they could take away?
At the end of my podcast, I always say the limit does not exist. And what I really mean by that is that whatever limit it is that it exists in your mind isn't real and true. We are by nature absolutely limitless. And when we grew up, and as we started to gather information and patterning and programming, we started to hear these messages, oh, you can't do that, or you can't be that, or don't think too big, or dream too loud. So all I want is for people to allow themselves to go back to their true nature, which is limitlessness. It is having and being and doing and creating whatever it is that you want in your life. It's available, but you have to think from there. If you're thinking from limits, you're making them exist. So if you're thinking from freedom, then you'll have everything that you want. And that's my experience.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for coming in. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope I see you again.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me.